Alright, hello, greetings and welcome. Alright, so today's video is on the fundamentals of Qigong, and I've done a lot of videos on this topic, but because it's so important I want to revise it. Now, your basics of Qigong is an alignment between your mind, your feeling and your body. Synchronicity of the three dantians. When your mind initially pays attention to the breathing and focuses the will of the breath into your stretch via opening the joints, so you control all forces through your body via joint and relaxing the muscle to transfer force onto the fascia, then the energy gets transformed into an internal wave, in an internal field. So we have attentiveness, willpower, focused onto the breath. The breath is condensed through the feeling of opening the joints. Now, as you tune the fascia through relaxing, hanging the muscles and opening the joints, you amplify the feeling. So by stretching everything out, the feeling of vitality, of Jin, increases. So it's a self-guiding intuitive process. If you overstretch, it sedates the energy. If you're limp, there's no radiation. So there's this fine balance in the middle between too much tension and not enough tension in the facial web. When we relax, hang the muscle, open the joint, and transfer tension from muscle contraction to fascia extension, there's still tension there. And that tension is radiant. Now, if you want to see a vibrant aura, just look at any athlete. Look at any bodybuilder. Look at anyone who's exerting themselves athletically. They'll start to glow with energy. Now, if what they're doing has a strong focus on the breath, has a strong focus on body connection, has a strong focus on relaxing into the power of the movement, and the mind is expanded, the radiation of the energy will increase. So if you look at a rower, they're out in the ocean rowing, they're concentrating on the breath, they're extending their mind to a point they're going to in the distance, and they stretch as they paddle. So you have the mental body extended, mind's focused on the breath. You're on a state of relaxation and stretching in sync with the rhythm of the water. So you're going to produce a very large amount of vitality with that type of exercise. Okay, so we have willpower, breath, stretch. This produces a base feeling of life force. Then you tune the awareness onto this feeling to tune the stretch with relaxation to produce more feeling, more energy. Because vital energy, astral energy, or qi, we experience it through a feeling. We can produce more by tuning our feelings and tuning our body mechanics. Okay, now the next thing is what we pay attention to increases. So what the mind tunes into raises in frequency and increases. So if we have a feeling, okay, I can feel life force between the hands, you put the stretch, you focus on the space between the hands, and life force starts increasing, a greater percentage of your mind will now start to pay attention to that life force. So initially you might have half your mind on the feeling, the other half on body mechanics, of how you're relaxing, how you're aligning your structure and so forth. Once you transcend those aspects of the body mechanics and most of your mind is on the feeling, your body mechanics will unconsciously align to produce more of that feeling that you're attuned to. And this comes into what they call the four bases of power in Buddhism, or the quadrupolar magnet and hermetics. Now, the four bases of power is basically fire, air, water, and earth. Air being what you're discerning, what you're paying attention to, what the awareness is taking in. So you discern, oh yep, there's energy there. You identify, I am energy. So as you take on that identity, more of your discernment becomes the meditation object. Then you apply your will to what you are, your mind's vibrationally matching that, to increase the amount of flow of energy in and out of your body. The earth element comes together to harmonize these qualities so that your discernment, your identity and your will harmonize in the earth phase to produce energy, relax energy, transform energy, move it between states, and for you to perform alchemy, or qigong as people call it, energy work. Okay, so the psychology of how the mental body, the yi, the mind intent, and the observer and intender regulate the feeling to transform and amplify the feeling, you need to have that psychology in balance. Now, when you're at this point where you discern energy, identify with the energy, and apply your will to what you are, which in this moment your mind is vibrationally matched to that energy, and you go through the self-guiding process of tuning and building more of that energy, you automatically come into this state of, okay, well, if I want to make my body lighter, you tune the fascia to stretching upwards. If you want to make your body more grounded, you sink and hang the muscles down. You feel how gravity is acting on the body. You tune into the resonance of that feeling of grounding and earthing yourself, of heaviness. If you want more fluidity and flow through the body, you tune into that quality. You pull the joints open a bit more, become a bit more magnetic. And if you want more electric or fire element, you radiate outwards and you create more mental space and more radiance through your mental, astral, physical feeling and mechanics. So we end up with the fire, air, water, and earth elements forming through how you think, how you feel, and what body mechanics you start to generate. So this self-guiding intuitive process, you figure out, well, if I want to create a chi with a very particular quality, let's say love. You hold a baby, mechanics. There's a baby. You don't want to hurt the baby, so you don't squeeze it. It's gentle, it's loving, it's protecting. So now you're adding a personality into it. Your mental space is around you and the baby, and you nurture the baby. So you create this feeling personality of love, a maternal type of love. Now, if it happens to be a full moon and you direct your mind to the full moon and you start breathing the magnetic currents of the moon into this quality of love, and very, very gently, mechanically holding the baby and your whole body breathing that feeling of love, what's going to happen? That feeling quality is going to increase through the mechanics, through that psychology, and the life force and the mind connected to the moon, which regulate magnetic currents in a very intense way during the full moon, you'll produce a very interesting type of field of consciousness, a type of power around your body. So this magnetic fluid. And people do these types of things intuitively. When you feel energy, your intuition can look at, okay, I've got to put this feeling into Tai Chi. You figure it out. You put this feeling into healing. You figure it out. Your intuition guides you. You are your own teacher. Everything you need to know can be released intuitively by following the feeling of the energy and balancing intuition and intellect and generating the conditions that you want. Okay, so I hope this helps a little bit of revision and helps you refine your methodology, how your approach to Qigong, and how your mental body is the observer and the intent and regulates the space and timing. The astral body regulates the personality, and the physical center regulates the body mechanics and the fuel to fuel the equation. Okay, thank you for your time, and see you on the next video.